second group of 10. This is your round one pitch video review feedback session. My name is Dr. Iris Wagstaff, and I'm honored to serve as the lead for this effort as well as the National Science Foundation principal investigator. And I also always want to shout out our National Science Foundation program officers, Carlita Page Anderson. We are navigating some challenging times, and I just want to thank them for their continued support of this effort in supporting you all. And I just want to acknowledge our appreciation for NSF and our team that continues to advocate for this critically important work. I do want to just spend this first few minutes as you are all are coming in to address some questions that came up last week with the first group of 10, as well as some things that were noted on the mid-year survey from some of you all that you all had questions about. So I want to clarify those things. And then at the end, we'll also have a Q&A session for those of you that want to stay on for another 10 minutes and ask any questions. Before I get started, I want to thank in advance our amazing reviewers who have taken time out of their very busy schedules today to provide this feedback to you to help you refine your videos and your pitch. So I want to thank Dr. Dorothy Jones Davis, Nina Archie, Dr. Ron Williams, and Raquel Blunt, who are the four reviewers that will be providing you the feedback today. They are the experts. So we want you to hear from the experts in this area. Dorothy, Nina, and Ron are a part of our amazing advisory board, and Raquel is one of the alumni that actually won a couple years ago. So again, these are the experts. So now let me go into addressing the questions that came up last week and the questions that came up on the survey. The purpose of the video is so that we have something to judge and something to assess and something to give you feedback on to help you refine your pitch. So all 20 teams will have to finalize your videos, which will inform your pitch. So that is the purpose of the video, so that we have something to judge and something to assess to give you feedback all these months, right? To help you prepare for your pitch. Okay, we've shared the guidelines for the video. It has to be a maximum of 2 minutes. The team has shared info on what the format is and all of that. So I do want to let you know that your final video will be due 1 week prior to the showcase, and that is September 18th. In addition to the video, you also have to do an in-person pitch. So each team will come up, your video will play, and the purpose of playing your 2-minute video first is because we will have judges and participants who will be judging you that haven't worked with you all this year like we have. So the 2-minute video is to acquaint them quickly to what your innovation is all about. So your 2-minute video will play, and then each team will have 3 minutes to give their in-person pitch. Your in-person pitch will most likely incorporate the main components of your video, but the purpose of the in-person pitch is to really show or pitch anything that you couldn't communicate in a video. So this is your chance to add any other information or anything that will enhance your pitch that you could not include in a video. So everybody has to submit a final video no later than September 18th. This is the first round of video reviews. You will have a second round of pitch review help. So a second opportunity to hear from our reviewers to get feedback in August. Again, we've broken those 20 teams out in August, and then there will be a final prep feedback opportunity on our very last e-mentoring, which is on September 10th. That will be an opportunity to ask any final questions and get any final help before those final videos are due on September 18th. So I just wanted to clarify because that came up and clearly we did not make that clear to you all that you have to do a video and you will do an in-person pitch of 3 minutes. That in-person pitch it's not required, but many teams also do some type of PowerPoint or slide presentation. If you decide to incorporate slides into your 3 minute pitch, then those slides will also be due along with your video on September 18th. So I just wanted to clarify that because that came up a few times. All of the resources that we have been sharing has been to help you all present the best video and pitch possible. So now we will go into the video. So we have the videos queued up. So the 2 minute videos will play. So our first team up is NourishNet. We want you to turn your cameras on if you can. If you're in a place that you can turn your cameras on, make sure everybody is on mute. After NourishNet, we have the team dropping the order of the 10 presentations in the chat. After NourishNet, we'll have Innova Collective. After Innova Collective, we have Blue Horizon. So come up, Team NourishNet, for your video and feedback. And I will be keeping the time on a 3 minute feedback.
SDG goals are project addresses.
At NourishNet, we are focused on contributing to a world where there's zero hunger through responsible consumption and production. We do this through 3 R's: rescue, repackage, and resell. We rescue food that would otherwise be thrown out, we repackage it in a fitting container and sell it at a cheaper price to our customers. Leveraging gamification and other benefits, we keep our users coming back.
According to World Food Programs, 1/3 of the food that is meant for human consumption is wasted. In the US alone, 60 tons of food are wasted every single year. So we introduced NourishNet, a platform where people who have excess foods are connected with people who are in need of good food at cheaper or no cost.
Our targeted users on the consumer side are millennials and Gen Z who are looking for an eco-conscious vendor and low-income families who are looking for an affordable and high-quality vendor. Our target users on the supply side are restaurants and grocers, which are both looking for a way to reduce food waste and maximize profits. The proposed cost to develop and sustain NourishNet in year 1 is $250,000 US. This covers tech development, logistics, compliance, marketing, and operations. Our business model includes a freemium platform, premium features for partners, logistic fees, and CSR sponsorships. We will partner with food banks, restaurants, and delivery services to ensure sustainability and community impact.
Our group chose to create a platform that connects people with excess food to those in need, offering food at low to no cost. This prototype is important because it directly addresses 2 major issues: food waste and hunger. At the same time, food insecurity affects 14% of Americans, including 1 in 5 households with children. By making food donation easier and more accessible, our platform provides a practical solution to reduce food waste and support food insecure communities. This is NourishNet.
I believe you're on mute.
Thanks, Team NourishNet. We'll now have 3 minutes of feedback from the reviewers as a whole. Feel free to jump in wherever you like, and I am keeping the time.
I think it's really engaging. It's a really great engaging presentation and overall a good presentation and a good product. A couple quick things. One is that you might want to consider using some slides to make some of the points, just so that they're not all oral, as that helps to reinforce your points as you're speaking them. And then a second suggestion is really to think about how your competitors, there are other competitors on the market that provide something similar. So you might want to look into some of those and how they work and how you stand out from those.
My comments are very similar. The visual would definitely be helpful, but I was also thinking as you were presenting about your competitive advantage and scalability in your market segment. So just make sure that you speak to those. I didn't necessarily hear them in the presentation.
Any other feedback? Nina, Raquel? Okay, I don't see Nina or Raquel on. Thank you so much, Ron and Dorothy. Thank you, Team NourishNet. Will Team Innova Collective come up?
I'm Rodney Trapp, founder of Innova Collective Ventures. This is more than just a platform, it's a movement. Innova Collective offers both contracting support for faculty, students, and staff, as well as commercialization support to help them make their ideas into commercialized vehicles. We're a multi-university platform and movement, and I'm proud to work alongside Samson Adu, John Arungu, and Julian King, all fellow PhD students at the University of the District of Columbia. George Washington Carver created over 300 inventions. Imagine if he had patented just 10% of the innovations that he created. Where would Tuskegee be today? It would have generated over $1 billion for its endowment. We're here with Innova Collective Ventures to help change that pattern. So we built something new, a platform that focuses on innovation and justice. Innova Collective Ventures has a chat box that walks you through the provisional patenting process, a commercialization process where faculty are able to verify and make sure that they have a marketable product. And then third, to Deal Room, where we're connecting HBCUs with potential funders. We align with UN Sustainable Development Goal number 10, reducing inequities, which calls for narrowing the gaps in wealth, opportunity, and access along racial lines, geography, and status. This is more than just a pitch. It's a call to rise. If you believe in a future where HBCUs do more than just educate, but own the innovation that they're creating, then come and partner with us. Partner with Innova Collective Ventures.
Thank you, Team Innova Collective. Feedback from our reviewers.
I can start. I thought your presentation was pretty good. I also like the fact that you tied in the UN goals. I would say that because the video that you did have, you talked a little bit more about basically the research that your school is also representing and coming from. I thought that was pretty thorough. If you want to basically make sure that you kind of have maybe a little bit of a closing, either one liner sentence or something that just kind of like takes it home. That would be my only suggestion.
I agree with what Nina just said. I thought it was a really good presentation. It was engaging and different, and so I really enjoyed it. One suggestion I have is also along the lines of comparing yourself to other competitors. So, again, how does this differ from any other incubator or other venture organization that may exist out there? Why would you want to join the Innova Collective? Is it just because it's HBCUs? Is that really the hook? Just really making it very clear how you stand out from your competitors, and a little bit potentially about, what else in terms of the offerings that you're providing. Is it the chatbot? What is it that's making you stand out in those ways?
Any other feedback from the reviewers? Thank you, Nina. Thank you, Dorothy. Any other feedback? If not, thank you, Innova Collective. Blue Horizon is next.
What is your spirit?
It was at this moment he knew.
Hello everyone, we are Team Blue Horizon from Alabama A&M University. I am Mawian Wusu and these are my fellow team members and faculty advisor. Blue Horizon helps to address United Nations SDG 6 and SDG 3 goals by monitoring the water quality, identifying harmful contaminants, and providing water treatment suggestions. According to WHO, over 2.2 billion people lack access to safely managed drinking water. This leads to harmful exposure to contaminants like lead particles and bacteria. Our solution, Blue Horizon, is a real-time water quality monitoring device that classifies water into 3 safety clusters: safe, treatable, and dangerous. Our major features are real-time water quality monitoring and AI-based water quality evaluation and treatment suggestions.
Built on budget, Blue Horizon is designed for low to middle income households. Estimated ongoing costs are between $5,000 to $15,000 monthly, and revenue will be generated through targeted ads and subscription plans. Our solution is both feasible and scalable, and this is through low-cost off-the-shelf sensors, cloud-based infrastructure, and customizable AI models that adapt to local contamination patterns. Unlike existing solutions which require expensive lab utilities, Blue Horizon is affordable, reliable, and accessible for everyone.
Thank you. And remember, safe water starts with Blue Horizon.
Thank you, Team Blue Horizon. Feedback from our reviewers.
I can go first. So I think you did a great job explaining your competitive advantage, and it was overall a really good presentation. I just wonder, I actually am curious, like, how much does it cost? So you said it's a low cost, and low cost, it varies from person to person what they believe. And I know you're looking specifically to address in low income housing or places where people don't have a lot of means. So just clearly defining what you think that cost would be, and if you're able to put that in, also how you derive that, right? So, you know, if there's a hardware cost and a subscription cost, you know, how much would it cost a family per year? It'd be like, you know, $50 to buy the device, and then it's a $5 subscription, you know, something along those lines to understand what those costs are and kind of a little bit of how you derive them.
I also second Dorothy with the cost part. So part of the rubric I'm sure you guys have seen is around the feasibility and scalability of technology. So a judge is going to be looking at how practical it's a solution. So because you actually have something that you've already started talking about with the competitive advantage, whether it's now or even when you're selling to a customer, you know, knowing that cost benefit analysis is always going to be key. So when you do that and you're doing your research, your market research on the market, which it sounds like you've done, it would be key even in this presentation and further presentations for you to discuss the practicalness of the cost benefit analysis, because that may be a pain point for a company or organization or whomever who's interested in your product or your service, because now they can see the cost benefit analysis. So if you want to put in a couple of words, if you want to put in some data, whatever you can do to discuss basically your cost benefit analysis as it compares to others will be very, very helpful.
Any other feedback? Thank you, Dorothy and Nina. Thank you, Team Blue Horizon. Any other feedback? Okay, if not, Team Newsbug is next.
This is Benedicta, and she just failed her English final because she chose to use information from a source that was not verified. Now look at her, not knowing what to do with herself.
I wish I had a tool that could help me verify sources.
In an era where misinformation spreads quickly, the ability to distinguish between fact and fiction is more important than ever. Like we had with our student here, Benedicta, she failed her exam because she was unable to verify her sources that she used in it. Here, to solve an issue like this, I introduced Newsbug, a beacon of truth that empowers individuals with the tools they need to verify information and make informed decisions. With Newsbug, our friend Benedicta here could have been able to verify her sources and get a better score on her exam. So with Newsbug, we don't just plan to combat fake news, but we plan to create a future where truth prevails and communities thrive on accurate and reliable information.
Newsbug empowers everyday people to take back control, make informed decisions based on the truth and not fear or manipulation. This isn't just about tech. This is about safety and protecting our communities. With Newsbug, we're not just reading the news, we're taking responsibility for it. The future of truth starts with us.
Newsbug is really cool. How didn't I know about this earlier? It's very easy to use and it's very, very detailed. I can't wait to show this to my friends.
Thanks, Team Newsbug. Feedback from the reviewers.
I'll start off. There's definitely a need in the market to be able to verify information and the accuracy of it, but I didn't quite understand how that was going to be done. So I'm thinking feasibility and your business model. There's definitely a need there, but I did not hear that clearly.
I'll just second that. I was a little unclear on the technology being used to verify things. So yes.
I would also say that I know you had kind of like a mini, it was like maybe like a play screen. I would say similar to like a play or some form of scene that you created in the very beginning. Maybe what you may want to do instead of starting off with that part first, maybe have a slide that has like a question or some form of like something that sticks out to people. Then you go into like this, 2-minute kind of infomercial or commercial or 1 minute, 30-second, whatever. And then maybe that it's almost like then we're looking kind of like if we're at a movie, you see something that's a headliner, then you go into like whatever that commercial scenario is, and then you go into your full out, then video. That may, help. Or if you want to do some speaking before, but it sounds like to me you like the, the whole thing of like maybe creating some form of a scene first. So I would say maybe create like a one-liner before that scene that is like that catches everybody's eye. So it's either going to ask a question or maybe there's some form of blurb around it. So then people see that, and then you go into the actual scene. That may actually be able to tie things together. So then people can say, okay, I know that this is about verified information, but then I'm very clear on why she started with the problem, which is the blurb or whatever that is. Then you go into, your scenario, and then you roll on into everything else that you're trying to do. And the reason why Ron and Dorothy are really emphasizing that is because once again, if a judge is going to be, judging you, the first thing they want to know is what's the problem and the solution. And if they can't figure that out or whatever, by the time you get to the feasibility or the model, they're still over here lost in the problem solution as to what is going on. So really and truly, you want to make sure that you really hone in on that part in the very beginning and make that very concise, because what you don't want is in the end, people are still questioning, exactly what is this? Or what is this all for? Or, what actually is this person trying to do?
Thank you, Nina. So thank you, Team Newsbug. We want to move on to Team Purifier for the people. And we are also asking our reviewers if there is any additional feedback that they didn't get to share. Please send that to us by noon tomorrow if possible, and we will share that info with the teams if you have to drop off or don't get a chance to share that now.
We are Team Purifier for the People, and our project is solving water scarcity in developing nations. Here, you can see the severity of water scarcity and who it affects in some of these countries.
The dangers of water scarcity include waterborne diseases such as cholera and other diarrheal infections that primarily transmit via contaminated water sources, chemical runoff from agricultural, industrial, and urban resources that introduce harmful substances, heavy metals that leach into the water sources, posing serious health risks. In many societies, women and girls are primarily responsible for collecting water. This duty can consume significant time, limiting opportunities for education and economic activities while also putting these women at risk. Contaminated water also affects irrigation, leading to reduced agricultural yields.
To address this issue, our project offers an innovative, sustainable, and affordable solution. A portable water purification station using ceramic and carbon filtration enhanced by sunlight purification. At an estimated cost of $100 per unit, with only a $25 annual maintenance, our locally produced device effectively removes sediments, chemicals, and harmful organisms, providing safe drinking water within a day at an accessible price. Its portability and effectiveness across diverse terrains, from deserts to mountains, allow us to reliably deliver clean water, directly improving countless lives one purified drop at a time.
Here, you can see a visual diagram of our design, which has ceramic filtration as our first step, activated carbon purification as our second step, and lastly, UV purification at our last step.
Thank you, Team Purifier. Feedback?
I'll jump in. Let's see. Yeah. My overall observation, I guess, was number 7 on the list of criteria on the rubric. Just clarity and effectiveness. I kind of got lost in the text on the slides. It was a lot of text, and just for impact and communication, bullets probably would be better, even if you have a script somewhere on the side that you're reading from, just from the listener's standpoint.
I will +1 that. I also think, so looking at the price point, and it went by kind of fast. So I think it said it was $100 a unit for water purification. And for example, you can get like a Brita for cheaper. So I'm curious, how does it compare again? And I know I sound like a broken record, but one thing for all the teams to consider is, how do you compare to what's already out there? So there may be other products and you may be better, right? So you want to think about, like, how do I stand out? What would make somebody buy this over something that might be cheaper and maybe not even work as well, but like it's cheaper? So like, what puts you over the top so that they're willing to pay that extra amount for the unit? And then I can't remember what the maintenance cost was. I think it's like $25 or something for an additional something. And I apologize, when I'm doing this asynchronously, I can go back in the presentation. But that's just something to consider, right? So you want to make sure that you're really, and this is for everyone, showing how you stand out. Why would I want to come and spend money on this product over whatever else is out there? How do you really do that?
And I would just add that you may have had it. So if you do have it, maybe this will be just something you put in your talking point. But typically, if you do a competitive landscape, you can basically align, basically all the different features or things from other companies as well as your company. Then you put each company obviously on top of the, let's say it's a sale doc or a chart. And then you put X's in as to, basically what you have versus what someone else has. So then eventually on that particular graphic or chart that you do, you can show the many features, show what one company has versus what you have. But then also in the end, you're basically going to be stating some of the things that Dorothy and Ron say about basically your competitive advantage or again, how this is a win-win, you know, with your technology being able to stand out. And then you're also really showing the competitors what they have, but it's all in one chart. So really and truly, you can Google competitive landscape for startup pitches, but essentially you're just basically going to be lining up several different features that come from other companies or their products or services. Then you'll put, you know, the companies at the top and then including yours. And then people can see a really good visual of not only the competitors in the market, what you have versus what they have, and then why yours stands out.
Okay, thank you. Time is up. Thank you, reviewers. Team Smart Bio Crete is next.
Every year, concrete cracks cost us billions of dollars in repairs. But what if the concrete could heal itself, just like human skin?
We are Team Smart Bio Crete, a group of passionate engineers building smarter and greener materials for the future.
A traditional concrete is strong, but it is brittle because it is prone to cracking. Once it's cracked, the cost of repairing is kind of expensive, and this causes frequent repairs.
Hi, so what is our solution? Our solution is bacterial-based self-healing concrete. We embed special bacteria in the concrete which seals the crack once the crack appears.
Water seeps into a crack. The bacteria activate, producing calcium carbonate, heals the concrete from within.
It's simple. You add bacteria to the concrete, the crack forms, water enters, and the bacteria heals the crack.
This process extends the life of concrete structures, cuts maintenance costs, and reduces environmental impact.
Imagine infrastructures like road, bridges, buildings get to heal themselves with the aid of self-healing concrete. This helps and makes the infrastructure more sustainable and more safer to live in.
With bacterial self-healing concrete, the future of construction is truly alive. And
thank you for supporting a greener, smarter tomorrow.
Thank you, Team Smart Bio Crete. Reviewers.
I can go. I'm always like the first to talk. So I really enjoyed the presentation. I think it's a cool and innovative solution to a problem. I think one of the things that was missing is the idea was there potentially understanding more about the business model. So who's buying this? How much does it cost? So just making sure that you're including those business aspects. I think the research and I think you did a really great job of simplifying the research behind it to explain how it worked, and the cartoons were really great. But I think understanding all the business pieces. So are you selling to a county? Are you selling to a developer? Who are you selling to? And how does this compare to the cost of just basic concrete? Is it a lot more expensive? Is it a little more expensive? Understanding those things.
I agree with Dorothy. She said everything I was getting ready to say. I really like the innovation. I really like the innovation. So that's it.
Any other feedback? If not, thank you, Team Smart Bio. Team Swap is next.
My name is Kenna. I'm a graphic designer, but I really want to learn about software engineering.
My name is Ola. I am a software engineer, but I really want to learn about graphic design.
It's just too expensive. But what if money wasn't the reason you couldn't go? Tuition has skyrocketed in the United States. Over 41 million Americans are in debt, and companies still can't find enough skilled workers. But that's where Swap comes in. It's free, and it's an AI-powered platform where users trade skills. Our AI matches people based on the skills they offer and the ones they want to learn. Once matched, they connect through chat or video, track their growth, earn badges, and build real portfolios. It's peer-to-peer, real-time, and cost-free. With Swap, you just need something to offer.
Swap is for learners who can't afford to keep up with expensive education. Think students
drowning in tuition, freelancers trying to stay sharp, career switchers needing new skills but short on cash. They all have one thing in common: a skill to offer and a skill they want. Here's what makes swaps different. You trade skills, not money. It's fast, free, and community-powered learning without the cost.
What makes it really scalable is the people. As users connect and benefit from the platform, they naturally invite others. And because skill sharing works in any community, Swap isn't for one region. It can grow from a college campus to cities. When it comes to learning platforms, we know we are not alone. We got big names like LinkedIn Learning, Coursera, and Udemy. They are great, but also expensive. Swap fills that gap. We don't charge people to learn. We connect them directly with someone who can teach and let them trade what they know in return.
Right. So for the cost, we're going to be spending on application development and cloud hosting. And for the revenue, we're going to use in-app advertisements, microtransactions through Swap credits and subscription plans. We have the free and the pro version. For the pro version, there's going to be unlimited swaps and priority in matching. This is the team. Thank you so much for listening to us.
Thank you, Team Swap. Reviewer?
I'll jump in. I really like the concept of swapping skills. Reskilling and upskilling is very important now, particularly as information turns over more quickly and at an accelerated pace. My question would be, what about quality assurance? We're swapping skills, and there may be those who are able to share the skills that they have, but in terms of quality of delivery and making sure that objectives are met from a learning standpoint, I would have questions about that.
I had the same feedback. I was sort of, how do you validate the skill sets that people are, if they're self-reporting, I have this skill, how do you validate? Is there a community approach to sort of upmarking someone as actually having that skill, or is there some other mechanism in there to just consider how you would do that? There are some community sourced ways that people do that, so definitely look into that.
I'll just say that back on Dorothy and Ron, I think that your concept and how you started off things are, to me, meaning the whole pitch or your slide deck, it looks really, really good. So it sounds like, if anything, and I know that Iris and Pamela may have sent over some pitching like tips, I would just basically make sure that you maybe refine some of the things that Ron and Dorothy are saying, and then just make sure you're practicing, your time. But I would say, from the standpoint of kind of, really being able to take the direction of how the presentation should go from problem, solution, and so forth, it sounds like you've done a good job. So maybe just the refining of the language and the suggestions and recommendations that Dorothy and Ron have shared.
Thank you, reviewers. Any other feedback? If not, team, I think that's Zula Disasters. You are up next.
In New Orleans.
Much of New Orleans, including Xavier University, sits below sea level. It depends on levees and pumps to hold the water back.
Storms don't knock. They crash in.
Most don't know when to evacuate.
Or if they even should. It's a life or death decision.
And nearly half of residents under mandatory evacuation orders still don't evacuate.
Over 1,800 lives were lost. This isn't just history, it's the forecast. Every flood teaches the same lesson.
Confusion costs lives.
People aren't ignoring warnings.
They're trying to survive with limited information. So we built something that gives them answers before it's too late.
That's where the XULA Disasters App comes in.
Our project directly supports UN Sustainable Development Goals 11, 13, and 3.
Development is estimated at $50,000, covering data, modeling, app design, and initial outreach.
A predictive storm safety tool.
By enhancing disaster preparedness, strengthening urban resilience, and protecting community health.
Designed by students who live in the very communities most affected.
Our prototype uses machine learning to analyze historical storm impact, predict infrastructure vulnerability, and estimate the likelihood of power loss. Our target users include residents in storm-prone regions, emergency management officials, and local governments seeking smarter evacuation strategies, helping residents prepare before disaster strikes. It helps residents make one critical decision.
Because in a city like ours, where storms are inevitable, clarity can't come too late.
Thank you, Team XULA reviewers.
If there was a category for best video production, they would get that. So I don't know, I'm just interested in more in the technology that they're leveraging to build this platform that informs people in a more timely manner. So the business model would be where I would need more information.
I would also say the market to tie into the business model that Ron was speaking of. So you did have a slide or around how it works. I did see that, and then I do like the fact that you really talked about basically how this is impacting your community. So it sounds like you all have really done some research, as well as really been able to look at how is the solution for the community that you're actually living in, or that you're basically being impacted by in some form or fashion. So you've shown that message and you've really taken that home. But like Ron said, knowing how it works as well as the competitors, I think that part, or at least whether it's a line or some date or some. And when I say, let me just make sure I explain this right. You talked about the problems of the storms. Yes, you talked about the actual problem. So that is very, very clear. But is there something else out there now? Because you talked about how yours works, and you mentioned the 3 key points. But knowing basically a little bit more about what else is out there that's currently going on. So like you do have these. It's like the firefly trees in California. Apparently, there's a million different devices, and they've got some in-home stuff. But as a result, like some people don't even know, like, oh, this is something, this product versus that product, which one is better? So I just said that to say that, having a blurb or something in there around the market, and basically the current technologies, and how they work versus how yours works, should be more, should be improvised a little bit more. And because you do stress the problem, or the issues that are going on in your community, it's okay to add in a little bit of data if you want to too, and say like 13%, 14%. A lot of times people, like when they hear numbers, they're like, oh, this is very impactful, or this is a bigger issue than we thought. So I would also just emphasize, if you can, put numbers into the problem areas that you have featured, and then also focus a little bit more on the technology, not just yours itself, but then also what's going on in the market with the technology.
Thank you, Nina. So as Team Data Stream is coming up, I do want to make sure we end on time. So if the team could drop the mid-term survey link in the chat. And if those of you that have already presented, if you can just go ahead and open up the survey and review that. It is very important that that you all complete this survey, because it allows us to make pitches and pivots as needed. You share some questions and challenges that you're having, and we want to make sure that we assist you in pivoting at this kind of midpoint juncture. So if the team could drop the survey link in the chat, and they will also follow up via email. But it is very important to complete this mid-term survey. So Team Data Stream, you're up now.
We are Data Stream from Meharry School of Applied Computational Sciences, AAAS, and HBCU Maker Team, and our project is Municipal Monitoring Matrix, Smart Community Hub. I am David Lockett, and I am joined by our advisor, Dr. Vibhuti Gupta, Michael Paul, Courtney Quarterman, and Lonnie Taylor. Our invention directly addresses UN Sustainable Goals 3 and 9. We uniquely advance these goals by combining IoT-powered environmental monitoring and digital empowerment to create healthier, more resilient communities.
Many neighborhoods in the U.S. often face overlapping challenges: inefficient waste management, unreliable internet, and limited economic opportunities. Research from the UNDP confirms that smart infrastructure can significantly reduce pollution, enhance economic mobility, and foster innovation, yet such solutions are rarely accessible in many communities.
Our Smart Community Hub is a solar power center that integrates several key innovations: IoT sensors, a local Wi-Fi mesh network, smart waste bins, a micro manufacturing hub, and a community marketplace app that enables digital transactions, helping local businesses reach new customers. All data is visualized through an intuitive dashboard accessible via web and mobile, empowering users with actionable insights.
Our primary users are community residents, local businesses, government agencies, and schools. The initial development cost is estimated at $5,000, covering sensor deployment, infrastructure, and software. Sustainability will be achieved through public-private partnerships and grants. Why this matters is because we plan to empower communities with tools for better health, sustainability, and economic resilience. By leveraging AI and IoT, we create lasting impact and bridge the digital divide, making smart, healthy cities accessible to all.
Thank you for considering the Data Stream Municipal Monitoring Matrix. Together, we can build healthier, more innovative futures for everyone.
Thank you, Team Data Stream reviewers.
I know I'm going to sound like a broken record. I do want to hear a little bit in your presentation about who else is doing this work. So a lot of the solutions, and this is general too, when you choose a solution that may use, let's say, publicly accessible data, or that we have, I know right now, some government agencies aren't working at full capacity the way they were, but a lot of our data around, how good our water is, how good our, what's going on in the climate, that's all being sourced into federally accessible data sets. And so if you're doing that in a different way, in a crowdsourced way, in a way that's more accessible, that's amazing. And also you want to think about why or how you would interface with the existing programs or what else is out there. Because for me, for example, as a scientist, I'm going to go to the government agency that is responsible for that area of work, because that's considered a primary source, maybe over even my community. And that may not be right, but that is something to consider, that some people will do that. And so you want to think about, well, how do I make myself stand out? What is really important? And sometimes that can be through partnership with those agencies. And so I know in the last presentation, you actually spoke about, we'll work with government agencies. That is one of the things, but just really thinking, how does that work? And how do you see them wanting to use your data? Why would they want to use your data? They may already have sensors out in your community. So, just making sure you're keeping track of those nuances, because those are the places that sometimes when you're going in front of venture capitalists or people that are trying to give you money, they want to know those questions, where there are going to be, issues in the process.
I would also say, to piggyback on Dorothy, is that I come from government. So typically, sometimes people will say or think they have a really, really good idea, or they do have a product that could be a solution. But to Dorothy's point, they don't know how the inside of government works. So they don't know like what that particular department is doing. How is their process workflow going with a particular like situation? So essentially, what is the solution that they already think they have? And so to collect data or any type of opportunities where you can actually see if they're if you can actually see basically what their use cases are, if there is a need, if they are at a point where it's broke, don't fix it, like what, knowing basically what exactly is going on in particular processes, particularly with government, helps you, like Dorothy said, with those pain points, because what you don't want is to try to convince people of something that whether you have something great or not, they're just not either interested, or you're in a situation where you did not necessarily know all of the nooks and crannies to their processes, meaning like who's the authority decision maker? Who is the person who actually maybe handles procurement or handles, some of the opportunities with funding, like anything that you can find out about, some of the problems and pain points and use cases you can use where you're directly like saying, hey, my technology is a solution because, and I've looked at the department or the process of what they currently have, it's always going to be helpful.
Thank you, reviewers. Final team, Team Ocean AI.
Every minute, a truckload of plastic enters our oceans. The North Pacific Garbage Patch now holds over 1.8 trillion pieces. This isn't just environmental damage. It's a threat to ecosystems, coastal communities, and our shared future. We are tackling this through UN Sustainable Development Goal 14, which is life below water.
We created Ocean AI drones, an intelligent fleet of surface drones that autonomously identify and retrieve ocean plastics. With precision and speed, they clean our waters, protecting marine life before it's too late. Our current prototype is in development, and we are actively building towards real-world testing and deployment.
Surface cleanup isn't enough. That's why we engineered the Metallic Whale, a submersible unit that filters out microplastics, which are the invisible threads beneath the surface. It glides silently under the waves, restoring the water column and protecting life no one sees.
We're building a closed-loop system. The plastic we collect is recycled and sold to companies and governments to create sustainable products. This is to companies in Hawaii, Japan, and California. Ocean AI doesn't just clean the ocean. It fuels a circular economy and empowers global action. Join us in powering the change.
Reviewers?
I can go again and just say, so this is obviously a big problem that we need to clean up and lots of solutions out there to do that. So you definitely want to, again, sounding like the broken record, to say like, please talk about your competitors and make sure you're saying how you stand out. Another thing about water cleanup and ocean cleanup in particular is you want to also, if you can, help us understand the flow, the volume, like, so how much water does each unit purify? How many of these units would have to be in the ocean to actually clean a certain area? That can help the lay person understand, how many of these they're going to need to be, and then talking through who's your customer, what's the cost? Who do you see deploying this? Is it just do-gooders in nonprofits that care about the ocean? Is it something that you see a direct consumer buying, like an everyday person saying, I care about the ocean in my backyard, and so I'm going to throw one of these into the ocean? Or do you see it as the EPA is buying like 50,000 of these to clear out, the Pacific Ocean or the California coast? So just thinking through some of those questions will really help to strengthen your presentation. But I think good job on the model.
Thanks, Dorothy. Any other feedback for Team Ocean AI? Okay, if there is no other feedback, great job to this second group of teams. Great job. Again, thank you to these amazing reviewers. If you joined a little late, we did share their full bios. Scroll up to the top and read their full bios. They are doing some amazing work. Thanks to Ron, Dorothy, Nina, and Raquel. I don't know if Raquel was able to join us, but read their full bios. They are doing amazing work. Please complete this midterm survey. Again, it allows us to address any questions or issues or challenges you may be having so that we can best support you. Also, if you were on in the beginning, I did clarify some things that came up last week. You are doing both a video and an in-person pitch. The purpose of the video is for us to have something to help guide you on and judge you on to help you prepare your in-person pitch. So that final video is due September 18th. We will be sharing links for you to upload that directly to the hotel. So the hotel AB has that a week ahead of time. Also due on September 18th, your in-person pitch. If you are preparing any slides or PowerPoints, we also need those slides on September 18th. Your in-person pitch will be 3 minutes. As I mentioned in the beginning, your 2-minute video will play. You will have 3 minutes to come up and pitch your innovation. The purpose of the in-person pitch is to communicate anything that you could not communicate in a video. If you want to demonstrate your prototype, whether that's an app or a chemical product, what have you, you will go up to the front to the table and you have 3 minutes to pitch. If you want to incorporate slides, feel free to do that, but it is not required. So again, just to clarify, your final video is due September 18th, along with any slides or presentations that you want to incorporate in that pitch. I highly suggest that you view the video link. The team can drop that in the chat from our 2022 showcase where we recorded the entire 3-hour pitch to give you an idea of what you will do. You will literally go up and pitch your innovation after your video runs. So the team is dropping the link to the 2022 showcase to give you an idea of what the setup is. If you have any table covers or any kind of school mascot things, feel free to bring any props. I highly suggest you view that 2022 showcase video. Also, if you review the photo gallery from 2024 and the winning videos that we've shared a few times now, the team is also resharing that. All of these resources that we've been sending you will help you prepare for this pitch. Again, the reviewers will share any other feedback or general feedback or specific feedback for specific teams. If you all can share that with us by noon tomorrow, we'll make sure that the team incorporates that in our final follow-up notice with this group of 10 teams. So I have to hop off, but our team will stay on until 1:15 to answer any questions in real time that you may have and address any challenges. I know some of our reviewers have a hard stop at 1. Again, thank you. But any other reviewers that can stay on for another 5 or 10 minutes to answer any questions, please do. Thank you so much. Great job. We are excited and look forward to see the improvements and feedback. Hopefully you incorporate this feedback into the second round. We're giving you a second round of feedback in August. Thank you, everyone. So feel free to ask any questions that you may have. I will defer to our AAAS team and any reviewers that can stay on for another 10 minutes or so. Please, please, please complete the survey and I will pass it off to our team. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Iris, and thank you to our reviewers, Ron, Nina, and Dorothy had to step off for joining us today. Thank you as well to our AAAS team, Naya. And thank you as well to our evaluation team, MN Associates. I think Nina and Kavita are on the call. I don't know if Debbie was able to join us as well, but thank you all to them. They all helped to keep everything moving along smoothly. And thank you to our teams as well. You all did a wonderful job putting all of this together. I'm sure it was a lot of collaboration required in the midst of like all the things going on this summer. So we greatly appreciate the time that you all took to put all of this together. We're going to stay on until 1:15. As Iris mentioned to our reviewers, if you have to hop off by a certain point, please feel free, but the team will stay on to answer any questions you may have. And then if you still had any questions that you weren't able to address during the session, you have to hop off early, you can email us at hbcumaker@AAAS.org. And then we'll get to that shortly after the meeting. But thank you.
So Pamela, can I offer a bit of general feedback, and then I have to hop. In addition to the rubric that was shared, and paying attention to each, criteria within the rubric, I would recommend, and this is based on not only these pitches, 2-minute pitches, but other pitches over the years that I've watched, is that the teams do a little bit of reading on storytelling, and it's something called narrative intelligence. I don't see a lot of pitches that incorporate that into the general pitch. So there's the rubric, and making sure that you address competitive advantage, that make sure you explain the business model, what SDG, but I'll drop a link in the chat that gives the 7 elements of narrative elements or narrative intelligence. And the ones that have the most impact and are able to grab not only the audience or the target market or the evaluator are those that in some way take the listeners through the stages of storytelling and narrative intelligence. So that's just a general observation for all of the teams.
Thank you, Ron. Also, thank you, Naya. One of our reviewers from last week's session, Latane Brackett, he did share a resource for a virtual NSF I-Corps training. And that deals with commercialization. We will send that in a follow-up email. But he's also available for office hours in case your team had any specific questions that you wanted to ask for some feedback on. He has also made himself available as a resource. So we'll be sharing out his calendar link so you can sync with him offline.
Other than that, the resources that we have collected from the preparation for the video pitch review will be sent to you via email. So if you don't have any questions, feel free to hop off. If you do, you can drop them in the chat or just unmute and share them with us. Other than that, we'll see you for the second round of the video pitch review.